Good afternoon. Welcome to MK Financial Podcast. My name is Micah Holland. I hope everyone is doing well. Wanted to talk to you today about a myth buster. How many of you have always heard, or maybe for our generation, from our parents or our grandparents tell us, go to school, get a good job, save your money. All good advice. Definitely not going to sit here and say that that's not good advice to take. However, what I want to talk to you about this evening is about what you do with the money that's in your savings. So let me give you a real example of the banking system and how it exists today. So let's say you do exactly what your parents or your grandparents told you to do. You got into the workforce around 21, 22, right after college. You're now in your mid-30s. You've done pretty good for yourself, and you have about 40 or 50,000 saved in the bank. If you think about that with today's inflation, you actually, because the interest rate that the bank is giving you for that 50,000 is a fraction of a percent. Scary, isn't it? But imagine only gaining a fraction of interest off of your money with today's inflation. So your dollar bill's actually losing a value of about $3,000 per year. But the banking system is set up, and they're going to continue that myth because they want you to put your money in the bank, and they want you to keep your money in the bank because they're going to take that 50,000. They're going to give personal loans and business loans out to people at a rate of anywhere between 8 and 15%. Think about that. They're taking your money, making 8 to 15%, but they're only giving you 0.3%, some cases 0.1% on your money. So that's why absolutely good advice that you should save your money. You never know when you're going to have an emergency. We know it as a rainy day fund. So you definitely want to have that. But more importantly, after you get to a place of stability, and you got into a routine, your budget is built around the 50-30-20 rule. Again, 50% for your needs, 30% for your wants, 20% for your savings. You're locked into that. Then that's when you really start to think about, how can I make my savings work for me to make even more money, which is called passive income. And so if your money is not earning money for you while you sleep, it's in the wrong place. So you have to make sure that you find those things that you have a passion for, investments in the stock market, real estate is huge, right? Almost every 1%er owns multiple real estate properties, right? But you definitely want to make sure that you have something in motion, and you're thinking about constantly making your money move and making more than what you have today. But if you just save your money, stick it in the bank, you're actually losing money. So I hope that this tip tonight brought you awareness about being a little bit smarter, a little bit wiser about how you utilize your savings. So if you enjoyed this message tonight, please subscribe to my community, because again, this right here are just little snippets to try to give you information to intrigue your interest about the information that I have to offer, so that ultimately what we can get to is the how, right? How do I do these things? How do I save money? So those are the things that I want to go more in depth on my podcast, where I can take my time, use examples, give you step-by-step instructions, because it's easy for me to say, save your money so that you can do this. But most people are saying, how do I do it? And that's the information that I want to share. So please subscribe to my community and look forward to that information that I'm going to be sharing in the future very soon. Have a good afternoon.